fantastic presentation. I've got Susan Haberley, the National Sales and Marketing Manager for one of Australia's most well-known companies in cruising, and that is APT Tours. And Susan, are you there?
Yes, I certainly am, John. Ready and waiting.
Oh, awesome. Well, I just wanted to, so I can't wait for you to start sharing some of the inside information about river cruising, and I guess today's been tailored in mind to help people understand what river cruising is really about. It's a new concept. There's quite a few myths about it. It's becoming extraordinarily popular, and really the more we can do to help our viewers today understand what's really in a river cruise and what they can take away from it, I think that'll be the best thing we can achieve. So Susan, over to you.
All right. Oh, thank you so much, John, and thanks for having me. Very excited to share with you some inside knowledge as to why river cruising has become the fastest growing sector of the travel industry. So hopefully in the course of the next half an hour or so, I'll be able to whet your appetite as to why river cruising, and in particular, what rivers there are around the world to explore. So what we're going to go through today. Yeah, sure, John.
Sorry, I just want to touch on one thing. We've got a bit of a carrot at the end of this cruise for people, this presentation, if they stay around too. Is that right?
Yeah, look, that is exactly right. So what I'm going to go through today is who are we, APT, what's river cruising, why has river cruising become so popular and the fastest growing sector of the industry, why APT for river cruising, what rivers around the world you can explore, and then, John, most importantly, if you watch until the end of this webinar, what carrot is there for you to be locking in your next APT river cruise. So I'll be heading through that at the end of this webinar, so stay tuned for that one. So just a little bit about APT firstly. I've put some of the brochures there you'll see on the screen. We cover all sorts of touring and cruising around the globe with the APT brand. And we also have a brand called Travel Marvel that I'm going to be discussing today as well. If you think of APT as your 5-star, all-included, bells and whistles, best accommodation, best river ships, best inclusions, and then Travel Marvel's pitch more at that 4-star level where there's more, I guess, freedom and flexibility because there's not as many inclusions. And it's more around the 4.5 star standard of river cruise ship and also accommodation. So I'm going to talk you through around the world exactly where we have the APT and the Travel Marvel options for you. But today is all about river cruising. So you've probably seen a lot of our ads on TV. You may have seen us in the press as well, because this concept of river cruising is really taking off. So why is it so popular? Well, in a nutshell, I think the most important thing is your river ship is your floating hotel, and it's a luxurious 5-star floating hotel with APT. So what that means is whether you're cruising through Europe or the Mekong in Vietnam or Russia, is you have to unpack once throughout the journey of your river cruise. And John, if you're like me, that packing every morning and having your bags outside the door at 6 a.m. to get on the motorway and travel around a particular country is pretty hard going. So
it's
I think having... Look, it is. It is. So I think opening up the rivers of Europe, which has occurred the last few years, really enables clients to just unpack once, and then the ship floats down, cruises through the magnificent waterways of the globe, and allows the villages and the big towns to be at your doorstep every morning as you wake up. So that is the undeniable convenience, and I believe the #1 factor that's really made river cruising, incredibly popular. Now with APT, we include everything in our pricing, so there's no hidden extras. So whether it be the meals that are on board, breakfast, lunch, dinner, also the drinks are all included, your accommodation with your beautiful choice of suite on board the ship, all of your touring, so there's no optional excursions that you pay for once you get over to your destination, it is all included. And that's been a really big plus, particularly out of the Australian market, because you know what to budget for when you get over there, and that pretty much is just any additional shopping. If you want to get your hair done at the hair salon on board, everything else is pretty much included. So it's great for our Australian clientele to be able to budget accordingly. Now,
so Susan, sorry, can I just clarify something there?
Certainly.
Are you saying that I pretty much don't even need any spending money for anything that's involved on board? Of course, if I go into
No,
a
look,
cafe in town and that, I understand that, but
that's exactly
on
right.
board, yeah, you can go
Absolutely
almost the whole
yeah.
time.
With your credit card in your wallet, pretty much. The only thing that you will be paying for on board the ship is, as I mentioned, if you got your hair done at the salon, or if you wanted to book into our beauty parlour and have a massage, so those types of additional services. And then everything else is pretty much included. There's a shop on board, so if you wanted to purchase any souvenirs, for family back home, just to rub it in that you've been travelling. That is the only thing on board the ship. When you're off the ship, it's only if you wanted to pop into a local cafe in your free time for a coffee, or if you wanted to grab a bite to eat outside of meal times when you're out and about in a town. But I tell you, the way our food is and how beautiful it is and the amount of it, you really won't be hungry at all for any additional food once you're off the ship. So that's a really big important point, is that we are all included, so very little to spend money on once you're over there.
Wonderful.
The scenery, yeah, which is really great, a really great sell message. Now, the scenery as you cruise, depending on where you are in the world, you know, your ship takes you to the beautiful scenery. So whether it be a gorgeous little village on the Mekong in Cambodia, where you can get out and about with your local guide and explore what the local delicacies the market has to sell. Or if you're in Europe, one of the beautiful little villages like Regensburg or Bamberg, where you can wander along the cobblestone streets, have a look in the various shops, do a tour with your local guide of all the historical importance of the town. So your ship brings you to these destinations. And the majority of the time we get as close as we can to docking in the heart of these villages, towns or cities. So there's no need to be, you know, parked up in a car park many, many miles away from the main town. The majority of the time we're able to dock pretty centrally located, which is fantastic. Something else which is a really very popular with river cruising is you can do as little or as much as you like. Now, some of you may, you know, want to go to Europe or go to Vietnam, Cambodia and just see everything. So we include all the sightseeing. We also include various choices for you to choose from different things you may want to do. That's all included. You may want to do all of that. Or you may wish to regulate how much you do, and instead of heading out to a town to do local touring one day, you might want to grab a book and head up to the sun deck and just have a really relaxing morning. That is incredibly up to you, and you can really tailor-make your cruise to exactly what your own individual requirements are, as busy or as relaxed as you like. And as we've mentioned with motorways and being stuck sometimes in traffic, there's no motorways, there's no maps if you're trying to navigate your own way around getting from A to B, and therefore it's completely stressful. We have a fantastic crew on board that look after everything, from cleaning your rooms every day, through cooking up these amazing meals for you, to historians on board telling you the history of where we're going to next, and also commentary as we cruise down the river on what you'll see as we're passing down these beautiful waterways of the world. So really, really stress-free. Now, the beauty of river cruising too, John, is it's obviously Europe's very popular, but there's a lot of different rivers around the world. So when we speak of Europe, we have itineraries on the Rhine, the Danube, the Moselle and the Main, which are all located sort of throughout the Amsterdam to Budapest waterways of Europe. We now also do tours on the Rhone in France, which goes from Arles to Lyon. Also the Seine in Paris as well, which heads from Paris up to the northern France region. We cruise along the Douro in Portugal, the Volga in Russia, the Mekong, as I've mentioned, in Vietnam and Cambodia, in between Saigon and Siem Reap. And we also have a cruise on the Zambezi Queen on the Chobe River as well in Africa, which is a real safari on water to see the Big Five and everything Africa has to offer. So there's certainly a lot of choice when it comes to cruising the rivers of the globe. Now let's start with Europe in particular, and you can see by this map here that there's now a lot of choice for the different itineraries and the different cruising that you can do in Europe. The most popular one is the Amsterdam to Budapest, magnificent Europe itinerary, which is a 15-day cruise, which cruises down through the Netherlands, through Germany and Austria, and heading all the way down into fabulous Hungary and its capital of Budapest. That is the most popular cruise, but we're now finding we have a lot of clients that have done that cruise, love the concept of river cruising, so want to explore other European waterways. And that's where we have, the Seine in northern France, the Rhine in southern France, the Douro in Portugal, and of course smaller itineraries throughout Europe and also Russia as well. So let's talk about the APT Europe river cruising experience, which goes from Amsterdam down to Budapest. So a little bit about APT. Now, John, you mentioned that we were Australian family owned. We've been around now for 85 years. So we've grown from a traditional coach touring company now to being a real specialist in the cruising arena, and in particular the river cruising arena. We are 5-star, fully inclusive, and we will guarantee pricing. So once you've paid your deposit on your APT river cruise, and we're now starting to sell for 2014, your price is locked in and guaranteed. Something that we're really, really focused on as well is our customer satisfaction rating. Now we have, on average, between 98 and 99% customer satisfaction. We very much listen to feedback from our clients, and over the years we've really fine-tuned the product that we offer to make sure that it's catering for those needs. We are also very proud of the fact that we've won many awards for our river cruise ships, and I'll talk you through the ships in just a moment. We have a concept called freedom to choose your touring. So when you're in certain locations on your river cruise, you'll do all the must-see sightseeing with our local guide, but then we'll give you the opportunity to choose between a handful of options of touring, and you can then tailor-make your cruise to what your individual needs are. And this is all included, no extra cost. We also, in some locations on our river cruises, have dine-around dinners. So this is where we'll give you a range of different restaurants to choose from, at which stage the cruise director will lock you into that particular restaurant once you choose where you want to go, and APT picks up the bill, once again tailor-making your river cruise. We have must-see signature experiences like the Budapest Opera, where we have a private recital. So these are real highlights of your cruise. We very much believe our cruise directors are the best in the business. They've been thoroughly trained by APT. They love what they do and are incredibly knowledgeable. We get great feedback from our cruise directors. And we also have international offices based around the globe where our river cruises are as well. Just for peace of mind, if anything should occur, we have an on-ground team there to help look after you. So the MAG Europe, as I just said, it's our most popular itinerary, Amsterdam all the way down to Budapest. Another itinerary which is very popular is this magnificent Europe cruise, but then adding on Paris and adding on Prague as city stays. So a 3-night Paris extension and a 3-night Prague extension. And John, we find quite often our clients are going all the way over to Europe. They really want to make the most of their cruising experience by having these city stays included as well. Now, incorporating the new Rhone itinerary, which was new for 2012, we have a fantastic cruise that does a Paris city stay for 3 nights. It then heads up to Amsterdam, where we'll do a 7-night cruise all the way from Amsterdam down to Basel in Switzerland. We'll then coach through Switzerland to then board another APT vessel, the Armadagio, and we'll do another 7-night cruise from Lyon all the way to Arles, and then our clients can choose between a city stay of Monte Carlo and Barcelona. So all of this choice to mix and match city stays with your river cruise experience. And here's another one here. This is the Paris up to Amsterdam, the 2 7-night cruises, and then finishing the city stay in Barcelona. So now, John, what I'd like to really do, I guess, is show you some images of our ships, and you'll be able to see why they really are floating 5-star hotels. So we have 2 classes of ships on our APT program, an Aria class of ship and a Concerto class of ship. So I'll talk through first the Aria. Now these have the French balcony concept, which we have an image of in just a moment. Because in Europe, John, I don't know if you know this, but the rivers are only so wide because we go cruise through dozens and dozens of locks, which enable the rivers to be able to be linked together. We can only build our vessels so wide. So in order to maximise our internal cabin space, there's a concept called the French balcony, or we also call it the panoramic balcony, which is sort of an interior balcony. So regardless of what the weather's like, you can just slide open your doors and enjoy that room and space inside your cabin. So these are our Aria class, and I'll show you an image in just a moment. We have
Susan,
the largest set of
can I just cut in?
Yes,
sorry, can I just cut across you there? A question that we get a lot, and you mentioned the rivers. Obviously, that is the whole destination for you, really. Well, the cruise ship's the destination, but you are on a river the whole time, and we all know rivers can be in flood or they can be low with water because of various reasons, too much rain or not enough rain, depending on the time of year. Clients often ask us, what happens in such situations when, say, the water is high or the water is low? How do you guys combat that? And do you, I'll put you on the spot here, do you have a
No, that's all right. Really good question.
or a number of cruises in a year that would actually be impacted by either of those situations, too much
high
water
or low?
too little?
Yeah, sure, John. Really good question. And sometimes we are at the peril of Mother Nature. and unfortunately, when she does have her wrath and either have low water or high water, we act accordingly. We generally find that the high water will occur at the beginning of the season, so around the March period, and that all depends on the rainfall throughout the winter period and the snowfall. And then inadvertently, we also find that if we do have low water, it's generally at the end of the season, depending on the rainfall. So that's around the November and the December periods. Now, this doesn't happen every year, and in fact, it's been at least 2-3 years since we've had a high water situation in March. So we do a number of things to combat this. Obviously, firstly, that's our cheapest time of the year to go, and that's when all of our fly-free deals are on across all cabins. Just to take into account that it is off-peak and that there is a slight chance of weather-dependent changes to the itinerary. We're quite lucky with the way that our ships are built. Our draft is one of the lowest drafts on board any ship in Europe. So we quite often find we are always one of the last ships off the water if we have this particular instance. That's in both the low and the high water because of the design of the berth and the draft of the ship. However, we have had instances where we have had to, I guess, chase up time if we've been slowed down because of high or low water. And we also have our ships in such a way that we have one coming down from Amsterdam and one coming up to Budapest. And where the issue generally is halfway, depending on the size of the bridges that we need to get under. So we've been very successful in past years where we've actually swapped clients across from one of our ships to the other to really create the most minimal disruption as possible. And these times are pretty few and far between, but they generally do occur at the beginning or the end. We also, ensure that if we can't get to a particular area that will make, and that's why our on-ground operations are so important to us, we will rejig the itinerary to ensure we're still seeing parts of the itinerary that are brochured. We may just have to do it a little bit more by coaching from the ship, depending how close we will get to that area. But once again, happens very, very few and far between, but only when Mother Nature is at birth, is at her wrath. And I guess it's the beginning and the end of season, which are more the danger zone periods, and thus they're the cheaper times of year to travel.
Would it happen each year?
For you?
Yes,
No,
it does.
no.
It's good. So it's not a given that it would happen this year or next year so far. I mean, like last year at the end of the season, did it happen?
Yeah, no, we're fine in March this year. We didn't have any high water levels. We had a little bit of low water, but it didn't affect our touring at all at the beginning of December last year. It's been about 2.5 years now since we've been heavily affected.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's the point. It is something that can happen, and that's, you can be rough out on an ocean cruise too. You can get run into a storm. It's a similar sort of thing.
Yep, that's right. I think the most important thing to note is we have made, if it should happen, we've got precautions in place operationally to ensure it creates as minimal disruption as possible.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
Okay, that's all right, no worries. All right, so just heading through with the ships. These are the boutique ships at 110 metres, and they have a maximum of 148 passengers. So for those of you that are ocean line cruisers, you're used to cruising with, up to 3,000 people. The river cruise experience is a lot more boutique. It's a lot more intimate, and as you can see with our Aria ships, there's only a maximum of 148. We then have our Concerto class of ships. Now this is when we have our twin balcony design concept, and I have an image in just a moment for you which will make it a bit clearer. But we have the internal balcony that I spoke about to maximise cabin space, but we also have an exterior balcony. So it's the best of both worlds. It's called the twin balcony concept. And we have the largest set of suites on the waterways in this particular category. On our Concerto ships, we have up to 7 different dining experiences, and this includes a fine dining degustation restaurant as well. So there's lots of choice as to where to choose to go for dinner on board your 15-day magnificent Europe cruise or whichever itinerary you're doing. Now these ships are larger. They're at 135 metres. And they're slightly larger in passenger ratio as well, 162 passengers, but of course still that boutique river cruise experience. So just with our suites, and we'll see some photos in a moment, I mentioned about the interior floor space with the French balcony concept, which ensures that we have the largest floor space on the European waterways. We don't locate any of our suites over the engines as well to minimise any noise disruption. All of our suites have a sitting area with tables and chairs located in them. We have all of what we call our dream beds, so you can choose from either queen or twin share, and they have all Egyptian linen and duvets. Our infotainment system and our personal computer with free internet access is available in every suite. So we have a range of movies and BBC and CNN programs all in English in board the suites, as well as DVDs on the areas that we're travelling through as well. And the big plus here, John, is the free internet access and Wi-Fi in all of the suites, which is very popular with our clients.
Very important these days.
It is, just to keep in touch. And of course the bragging rights. You've got to send home photos to your family and friends of what you've been seeing.
That's for sure.
All of our suites have their own private en-suites as well. And we even have a pillow menu, can you believe? And of course hairdryer, bathrobes and slippers. So this is where the 5-star hotel really comes in. And all of our suites have personalised climate control, so both air conditioning and heating facilities as well. Now I'll put this in, John, just to give a mention of where the cabins are located. And this deck plan is also available in the back of our brochures as well. But I'm going to talk you through the different categories. Now I'm going to talk you from the piano deck, which is the lowest level of the river ship, to the cello deck, the next level, which is where all the dining restaurants is located, and our kitchen, to the violin deck, which is where the main lounge area, our gift shop and reception is. And then of course we have the 24/7 views, or 360 views rather, of the sun deck, which is a really popular place, particularly when the weather's good. You can sit up there with a book or a glass of wine and watch the world go by. So depending on the cabin and the suite that you choose, obviously our leading cabins are on the piano deck, and the higher up you go, the higher the suite category, and then of course an upgrade price to be in those higher category of cabins. So we'll talk you through those now. So down on our lowest level of ship, this is our lead-in category cabin. So this is the twin window suite, 170 square feet. It's symbolised as Category E and Category D. Now, they're the same size rooms as some higher categories, but John, as you can see, because you're on the lower level, you have 2 windows rather than that panoramic balcony or twin balcony concept. But the beauty of this particular category of suite is because it's our lead-in, we have a fantastic fly-free deal available year-round, regardless of when you travel, from March all the way through to December on these particular suites. A question I often get asked, if you stood up next to those windows, where would the water level be? So my answer is generally I'm about 5'8". If I stood there, the water level would be just below my shoulder height, so below where these windows are. So you still get a fair bit of natural light coming in, and you're certainly not submersed in the river. The river's not above the windows there. So great lead-in category of suites. And of course, as I mentioned, we have a pillow menu, and I haven't mentioned, but all of our suites have free bottled water daily as well. Now, this is the next category up, so this is on the next two levels, category A, B and C. So once again, 170 square feet, and this is this French balcony or panoramic balcony concept I discussed earlier, where regardless of what the weather situation is like, you can pull open your sliding doors and you can sit and watch the world go by and maximise your cabin space. Once again, as I mentioned, we've got the FOC internet, and these doors slide right back into the hidden cavity there. So these are a really popular choice for our clients to maximise the cabin space, the suite space, as well as having that fresh air element and being able to watch the world go by.
Susan?
Okay, then, yes?
Susan, sorry. Just for that previous slide, FOC, for people who may not understand, it means free of charge.
Oh, sorry, free of charge. That's a very good point. Sometimes we get caught up in the travel lingo. Yes. It's free internet throughout in your suite, and we have Wi-Fi available in the public areas as well. And we find these days so many people take iPads travelling as well, which is a really fantastic way to keep in touch with everybody back home. So you can pick up that Wi-Fi throughout the ship as well.
Actually, I've got something to share with you there, sorry. With people who do have iPads and iPhones, one of the issues that they come up against is, in fact, running out of memory, and they have to back it up.
Right, that's a good point.
Their phone chocks up, but I've just discovered this morning a special app that you can use that even while you're filming, as long as you've got Wi-Fi connection, you can just upload straight from your camera. It's pretty awesome. So I will include that link at the end of this presentation for people who are traveling, because it's going to prove very handy, for particularly for people who have small memory phones. And
absolutely. Yeah, that's a great tip, John. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, now this is the twin balcony suite. So this is on our concerto ships. So this is where I mentioned it's the best of both worlds. You've got your external balcony for when the weather's lovely and you'd like to sit outside, watch the world go by. And then we also have, without compromising suite space, we have that panoramic balcony as well on the inside. So these rooms are fantastic size. They're between 210 and 235 square feet, depending on the category. And that's an exclusive design concept that was designed by our owner, Jeff McGeary, and we're apt to have the twin balcony concept. Very, very popular suites. And then if you really would like to go upmarket, we have our owner suites, of which there are 4 owner suites on board our concerto ships. And this is 350 square feet, and once again the twin balcony, as well as a living room area there as well.
So slide.
Yeah, so what's happened there? I just need to... Are you seeing this? I'm
just seeing that last 210, 235 square metre thing, wouldn't it? So
right. Yeah,
there we are. There we are. You've got the slide now. You might want to just repeat that, and we'll edit that little bit out.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the owner's suite, 350 square feet. And in all of our top suites, we have butler service as well as free wine on fruit on arrival as well. So you can really, fancy yourself sitting back and watching the world go by, and ringing your butler to be able to bring you a drink. There he is there. Be able to bring you a drink or room service when you need. And our butler service is on our top 46 suites.
My style of travel.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now, speaking of my style of travel, all of our cruises are all about the standard of the food and the wine. So on our concerto ships, we have up to 7 different dining options, all included. So we have a wine bar, we have a fine dining and an Italian restaurant. You can just do casual dining in the lounge should you wish. When the weather's nice in summer up on the sun deck, we have al fresco dining available throughout the cruise as well. You can choose from room service for breakfast and dinner if you just wanted to have a night in. And on our concerto ships, we have our degustation menu at our 11th Chef's Table restaurant, which is included twice for our clients on board their 15-day cruise. So for a special occasion, or if they would like to experience that, we include it twice throughout their journey. So something has been very popular. You can see there, that's the 11th restaurant. Now this has 2 tables that length, so it can house up to 24 guests every evening. It has an open kitchen where the chefs actually prepare your meal behind glass, so you can see all the actions of what's happening inside the gully as they prepare your fine dining meal. And because it's a degustation menu, we have matching wines that complement the courses throughout as well. So very, very popular on our concerto ships. John, as we've mentioned, our beverages are now included all day on our European river cruise ships. So that's beer, wine and soft drink. And we also have, depending on the style of ship, we have a pool here on our concerto ships, and we also have a whirlpool on our aria ships as well. Particularly throughout the summer months, if you want to have a cool dip in the pool after you've been out touring around a local village or town. Now the sun deck, as I mentioned, has 360-degree views, really, really, really popular with our clients, particularly when we're going through some spectacular scenery throughout the Rhine with all of the gorgeous castles, or heading through the Rhine Valley in Austria. There's great photo opportunities, and our clients will quite often head up to the sun deck and watch that gorgeous scenery go by and take loads and loads of photos. Now I put this photo in here. It's not a very attractive photo, but it's to show you that we have speakers up on the sun deck as well. So the right-hand side there is our speakers. So whenever there is commentary by our cruise director or our local historians, it also comes out up on the sun deck. So should you wish to be on the sun deck taking your photos, you can still hear the commentary that's being provided of what we're passing. So it's a very popular thing to have on our sun deck. Now what else is all included on our cruises is onboard entertainment and guest lecturers. So quite often throughout the course of your journey, we'll bring in local musicians, we'll bring in opera singers, we'll bring in Bavaria, you know, the slap dancing Bavarian dancers, to really give you a taste of where we're in and the type of local culture that's experienced in that particular village or that town. And it's all from the comfort of the lounge room on board the ship. So we bring the entertainment to you. The onboard bar area, here's a shot of this here. So all your drinks are included now throughout the whole day. So you can sit there and once again meet new friends, get to chat to the locals, and also in the bar and lounge area is where we have all of our talks and briefings on what the next day will have in offer for you. Now the comprehensive sightseeing tours, John, just to give an indication, on a 15-day MAG Europe, we have 29 guided cultural experiences of towns, villages and cities, and then we have up to 67 other enriching experiences that clients can choose from. So this is where that whole tailor-make your cruise is up to our clients, and it is all included. You can do as little or as much as you would like. Now, all of our shore excursions are held with local guides. Nobody knows their backyard like a local, so we believe we pick and choose the finest local guides to walk you around their village or town. And you'll notice that everyone's got little boxes hanging around their neck. These are boxes, and these are used on all of our river cruises, whereby you then have commentary with an earpiece. So if you're off taking photos of the local cathedral, you can still hear your local guide. And traffic noise and everything means that you can still hear them because they're in your ear set. So they're really popular. We have bikes on board as well. So if we find our clients, you know, want to get out and about and active and go explore on their own, these are all free of charge, and they're on board all of our aria and concerto ships. This is just some images of the type of scenery and the type of villages that we visit. So this is gorgeous Bamberg in Germany, down on the Rhine River, really medieval little village. We do a day trip out to Český Krumlov as a freedom of choice option. Český Krumlov is in the Czech Republic as well, so this might be an area that our clients wish to explore. And then the must-see highlights, the signature experiences, we have a fair few of these on our cruise. An example is when we're in Budapest, we take you to the Hungarian State Opera House, where we actually have a private recital by the Hungarian State Opera. And you can see there, they're all just APT clients experiencing that private recital after they've done a tour of the magnificent Opera House in Budapest. Some examples of the freedom of choice touring. So this is where you get to choose what type of touring you wish to do. It's an example when we're in Passau, near Linz in Austria. Our clients can choose from the medieval town of Český Krumlov in the Czech Republic, or a guided bicycle tour between Passau and Linz, or they might want to go and test their culinary skills and do a tour, cruise and apple strudel demonstration in Austria, or they may wish to do a day tour with a local guide to Salzburg, which is of course home of the famous Mozart and also the location where The Sound of Music, that fabulous film, was filmed all those years ago. So once again, tailor-making your cruise depending on what your needs are. So just to give an indication of the type of deals that we have for APT, now we are actually selling 2014 now, John. This product is so popular and is in such demand that we actually release it in January for the following year, and it's selling really well. So if you want to get your choice of suite, your choice of cabin, your choice of itinerary and your choice of date, we really recommend that you get in before 30th of April this year. As long as you deposit with $1,000 by then, the second deposit is due 30 September and then final payment 100 days prior. We have a fantastic deal, whereas if you travel next year, you'll pay 2013 prices, and these prices are guaranteed to be the best prices. They will go up with the main brochure in May. And we also have a fantastic fly-free deal. So depending on your suite category, we'll fly you free to Europe on cabins D&E all year round, and then on all cabins in those early months of March, and then again October, November and December. So that's a fantastic deal. We've got some other super deals as well for next year that I'll just get up onto the screen. If you travel 1 April to 30th of September, we will once again fly you free in paying taxes, and this is available throughout the whole year on category D and E, and we'll also give a fly free just pay taxes on category C. So I just recommend you really decide on which cabin and suite, which departure date, and then we can give you the best deal possible for that particular itinerary. Now I mentioned the Douro. We're now cruising through Porto all the way through to Vega de Teron in Portugal. This is a fantastic itinerary, and it can be mixed with a Lisbon city stay as well. So the whole river cruising concept, the all-inclusiveness, as I've spoken about, and this is the type of scenery you'll see throughout Portugal. Really, really, really gorgeous.
Beautiful.
We've got a new ship. Yeah, we've got a new ship for this year. This is the Alma Vida. Now, we have a little bit more option with cruising the Douro because we don't have the width restrictions that we do throughout the Rhine, Rhone, Danube and Main rivers with all of those locks. So we're able to have exterior balconies on over 70% of these suites with the fabulous Alma Vida. And she's going to be christened next month and make her first maiden journey. I mentioned the Rhone and the Seine as well. So once again, just recapping that we have fantastic options ex-Paris on a 7-night cruise on our ship, the Allegro, an Aria style of ship. And then we also have that fantastic cruise from Lyon to Arles, which I was lucky enough to do last year. Very, very regional through southern France. Get to experience a lot of the local vineyards. We did cheese tasting. We went truffle hunting with some local truffle farmers. We went to a goat farm. And the beauty of the Rhone cruise is you actually dock every night in a village. So once you've had dinner on board the ship, if you wanted to wander off and go for a walk through that village, grab a latte or a glass of wine, you could certainly do so. It's a very slow-paced itinerary and a really great way to see regional France. So just to summarise, John, as far as river cruising in Europe goes, just to recap that we actually design all of our platinum cruises for the Australian and New Zealand markets. So that's where we have all of our clients from. We include all airport transfers and all the tipping. This is for cruise staff, for local guides, for everybody. You don't have to put your hand in your pocket. The must-sees, the signature experiences, and then the choice to do what you wish with freedom of choice is all included. The bikes on board. Now, all of these inclusions, because we don't have optional excursions, on average they're valued at over $2,300 per person on that 15-day. So that automatically is included in the cost of your cruise. We've got the fly-free deals, and then of course also those fantastic public areas, the swimming pool, wellness area, sauna, fitness room, and the multiple lounges as well. Oh, sorry, I'll just go back here, previous. And just to recap as well on the dining experiences, the beverages included all day and night, the panoramic balcony and twin balcony suites, flat screen TV with the free internet, the pillow menu, the noise reduction because we don't build any of our suites over the engine, and of course in those top suite categories, the butlers. So you're really getting a lot of value for the price that you're paying, plus of course those great super deals and the fly-free deals. So John, that's a recap on Europe. Perhaps for those that want to stay on, I'm going to do just a little whip around the world with our Travel Marvel brand and also the other rivers. But for those that want to leave it there, the deal today for watching our webinar on Europe River Cruising is that if you book and deposit and mention that you have watched this webinar, we'll give you a $200 off at the time of booking, a $200 off per booking if you mention that you've seen this webinar. And we'll pop that slide in there that shows you can either register your interest with bestrivercruises.com.au or also ring the 1-800 number as well.
Perfect. And that'll add the extras on the tour to over 2,500 when that's thrown in.
That's absolutely right, and that's just those touring options, the 2,500. You know, you've then got your fly-free deal or super deal on top of that, as well as, of course, your accommodation, all your meals, all your local sightseeing, all included. So when you break it down by day and you think you're not putting your hand in your pocket, it really is great value for money at a very high level of service. It's still incredibly high value.
I can say, Susan, from our clients' experience, we've done these past river cruises. If we were to actually, well, if they take the $200 deal and are able to act quickly, and there's two reasons to do that. One, obviously, you're going to get the extra money. You probably won't have to put your hand in your pocket for anything on the cruise ship. And secondly, the other reason you need to consider acting a little bit quickly is just 2 days ago, Nilla was booking a river cruise for somebody in Europe, and they only had a choice of 5 cabins in 2014 on that particular cruise. So, like you said, the popularity is off the planet, and anyone who wants choice now will need to act quickly. And with luck, our little carrot will not only give you the choice of getting the cruise that you want, but you'll also be able to pretty much say to yourself, well, I won't even have to spend any money whatsoever.
That's absolutely right, and knowing as well with our preview brochure out that the prices will go up to 30 April, so it's another really good reason to lock in these, you know, the same prices as last year, the 2013 prices, because the prices will go up in the main brochure.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
No worries. All right, so for those of you staying on, I'm just going to whiz through the Travel Marvel brand for Europe River Cruising. Now, I mentioned that this is a 4-star product with just not as many inclusions as APT. So the no freedom of choice touring, the no dine around dinners, yet all meals included, tipping is still included, drinks, beverages included with lunch and dinner. It really is a fantastic way with freedom and flexibility to still experience river cruise. So we believe it really is the best choice for a premium, best value river cruise experience. We have 2 ships for next year, the Travel Marvel Jewel and the Travel Marvel Diamond. It does the same itinerary from Amsterdam all the way down to Budapest there, visiting all of those same little villages and towns that I spoke about with APT. Here's just some shots of the interior of the ship. So this is the elegant bar and lounge area here, and where we still have onboard entertainment at certain areas throughout the cruise. We have 4-course dinners, breakfast, lunch, dinner included, and it's a la carte for dinner. So you can see here the dining room area. We have a fitness centre as well. I should mention we have fitness centres on board APT as well, but John, I must tell you they're the most underutilised room on the entire ship because everyone's so busy off enjoying, and that can all wait till you get home anyway. But they are there for anyone who should wish. Now this is where the cabin styles on board Travel Marvel, they are all 170 square feet, regardless of whether you're located on the bottom level or to the top level there. So really quite spacious and well appointed, and they have that whole French balcony concept that maximises your internal cabin space. The one cabin that's different to that are the owner suites, which you can see here, which are really quite indulgent, and the bed that looks out through the panoramic balconies there. Free Wi-Fi once again, and our Travel Marvel also have a fully stocked minibar as well. Now all meals and complimentary wine and beer with lunch and dinner, and we also have champagne breakfasts available with Travel Marvel. So the difference with APT is drinks are available all day. With Travel Marvel it's complimentary wine and beer with lunch and dinner and the champagne breakfast. Once again, I mentioned onboard entertainment. We get the locals in, whether it be violinists, opera singers, the Bavarian dancers, the tipping's included, the small group excursions, so with the local guides and the tipping for the local guides, all included. So we believe Travel Marvel really is a great option for those that perhaps don't want all that 5-star and included, but certainly want the freedom and flexibility to tailor-make their river cruise to them. So the deal with Travel Marvel is March and October, March and then October to December, once again the fly free deal on all cabins and all cruises. But then the great deal with Travel Marvel for the peak season, there is still a fly free, just pay taxes regardless of the cabin that you're in. So that's a really great deal, and this is on the 21-day, so the Amsterdam to Budapest cruise with a Paris and a Prague extension, which is really great value. So that's Europe, John. While we're sort of then going to slip across some borders, we're going to head up to Russia. Now, we've found Russia's becoming a really popular place to do river cruising as well, because of the history that's there, the fantastic culture. We go to St. Petersburg and we cruise all the way through to Moscow. So there's so much to see and do in the big cities as well as in the little local towns. So you can see here it's a 11-night cruise, and we also then do 1 night in Moscow. So all up 12 nights there. So I was lucky enough to do this trip a couple of years ago, and I'd been to Russia before, but not for about 13 years. So the difference in Russia I could not believe. It's opened up dramatically. The cities are becoming really modern, but there's so much history there. And then what I loved about it was seeing the changes and everything becoming modern in the big cities. But once you get off the beaten track and you're cruising, you're winding back the clock once again, 50, 60 years. All the villagers don't speak English. You're seeing them live, how they do as locals. We're really immersing ourselves in the local culture, and I found that really, really fascinating. So we use the MS Armour Katerina. Russia's a little different to Europe in the fact we're really restricted with our building of ships. We are unable to build new ships in Russia. They must all be existing ships that we're able to renovate. So this particular ship, the Armour Katerina, was renovated a couple of years ago, and she is the best that is on the rivers in Russia. Slightly different standard to what you would expect in Europe, just because of the government regulations of what we can and can't do on the waterways, but still a very lovely, well-appointed ship. You can see here's the panoramic lounge. Once again, we have local onboard entertainment of an evening. All the meals are included. Drinks are included with lunch and dinner. This is the restaurant here, so really well-appointed, great windows all round, so as you're cruising along, you can see the fantastic sites that you are passing, and you're seeing locals put up washing, you're seeing local fishermen, catching their wares. It is really, really rustic and a very regional experience. We do al fresco dining as well when we're up in Russia, weather dependent, and our cruises in Russia go from May through to September, because we certainly don't want to be cruising once that Siberian wind kicks in across the winter months. So there's a May through to September window of opportunity there where our cruises go. Now the suites in Russia, once again, we don't have the width restrictions. We do have a few locks on the waterways in Russia, but they're not as narrow as our European ones. So therefore, once again, 70% of our suites all have exterior balconies, and you can see here the size of the suites. They're really well appointed. They can be a queen configuration or a twin configuration, and they all have private en suites as well. You can see the balconies here. All right, so that's Russia, a great option. Now another destination that we opened up into with river cruising, about 3.5 years ago now, this is the Mekong. So going through Cambodia and going through Vietnam, a very, very popular destination for us. So we have a couple of options for you with river cruising in Vietnam and Cambodia. We launched for APT the RV Armour Lotus, 18 months ago now. And she's a beautiful ship. She has the twin balcony concept. There's 62 suites on board, and it's almost a 1-to-2 ratio with crew to passengers. So that you're very well looked after. And once again, we have the 4 passenger decks. So where the cruise goes to, you can see down on this particular map, we have a 7-night Saigon to Siem Reap Mekong cruise. So travelling throughout Vietnam and Cambodia. This is then able to be combined with city stays in Siem Reap and Saigon, as well as land touring up in Halong Bay and Hanoi, and also on the east coast of Vietnam in Hue, Da Nang and Hoi An. So some great itineraries for you to look at there. And we also do river cruising up on the upper Mekong. So I'll talk you through that as well. But this is our most popular. This is a 12-day, so it has that 2-night Saigon, 7-night Mekong cruise up to Siem Reap in Cambodia with a 2-night stay in Siem Reap. A very, very popular cruise for us. So this is the deck plan of the Armour Lotus. So these are the deluxe balcony suites with those twin balconies, and these are category A and B, so they're all on the 2 decks, the main deck and then the upper deck. And you can see a little diagram there of how these rooms are outlaid. They're a massive size at 226 square feet. So they have the queen bed, or we can configure them twin, the private bathroom ensuite, and then that private balcony as well as the external balcony. So very popular. This is our leading cabin. So this is on the lowest deck. This is a category C. So once again, a very decent size, but with those twin window suites. And then this is where our balcony suites come in with the outside and the interior in the A's and B's on those 2 upper decks. You can see the decor. It's very, I guess, Indo-China influenced with the dark wood mahogany and then all of those gorgeous Vietnamese silk trimmings with the pillows and the throws. Then this is the SADC balcony suite as well, with the twin balconies and sort of the equivalent of the owner suites on the Mekong, really well appointed. And then we go a step even larger on the Mekong with this fantastic 350 square feet owner's balcony suite here. I think that's almost as large as my apartment. So very, very popular. And when you look at the upgrade costs, our Vietnam and Cambodia product is extremely well priced. So to upgrade from the lowest category up to the owner's balcony suite is not that much at all. And in fact, I'm just having a look for you. It's $1,595 per person to go from the lead-in porthole all the way up to this owner's balcony suite. So divide that by a 7-night cruise, and it's really just over $200 per person per night for that complete jump from the lowest cabin category all the way up to the owner's suite.
So what do you get?
And here's
what do
the
you
reason
get for that?
to do it. You get the size of the room. Yeah, going to go through this now. So you get, the room is absolutely fantastic. You're also, of course, then getting your own ensuite with a bath. So it's absolutely like a hotel room. And then, of course, you're getting the twin balcony suite and butler service as well for room service whenever you want, and fresh fruit platter and wine on arrival. Now, the one thing to note with the Mekong is, depending on the time of year, it of course can get very hot. So having a pool is absolutely paramount. So this is the pool on board the Armour Lotus. And the way we do our touring, we'll generally do it of a morning for a couple of hours from, say, 9 till 11. We'll then come back on board the ship to beat the heat of the day. That's when clients can have a siesta in their cabin, take a dip in the pool, read a book in the lounge. We then have lunch. Then we do the rest of our touring in the afternoon from about 3 till 5. So we really beat that heat of the day. We have onboard entertainment as well throughout our cruises in Vietnam and Cambodia. through from Cambodian, national dances, through to fruit carving demonstration, history talks, all sorts of different local cultural activities, all included in your price. The food on board on the Mekong is, as you would expect with APT, 3 meals a day, all a la carte for lunch and dinner. You get to choose. And we have for breakfast and lunch what's called the action station in addition to a buffet. And this is where the chef is physically out in the restaurant and they're cooking up some fantastic local cuisine for you. So be it, local pho soup, which is the Vietnamese local dish, right through to local fried noodles, Cambodian style. And that's a really interactive choice for you during your dining experience. And on board the Mekong as well, all your soft drink, local beer and local spirits are included all day, and regional wine is included with lunch and dinner as well. So John, getting back to that concept about what would you pay for on board APT on the Mekong, once again it's souvenir shopping, and if you're out and about and you wanted to grab yourself a drink after you've done your local touring, that's really it. Or your hair, if you want to get your hair done, or a massage on board. That's pretty much it. Everything, as with all APT river cruises, is all included. And we're thrilled to announce that we have a couple of tours that are actually escorted by celebrity chef Luke Nguyen. He's our brand ambassador for Vietnam and Cambodia. We're rapt to have had his influence in not only the tours and cruises he'll be escorting, but also in all of our cruises. We have a Luke Nguyen signature dining experience on board all of our Mekong cruises. And Luke has been instrumental in really handpicking all of the local cultural experiences that we do on both our land and our cruise components in Vietnam and Cambodia. Now, just with another choice of river cruising in the Mekong or in the Cambodia and Vietnam arena is we now actually offer upper Mekong cruising. So this is available with our Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos and Thailand Discovery Tour, which is a 26 or 23-day tour. So this is the ship we use. So once again, a very boutique ship. This is on the upper Mekong River where we cruise on board the Mekong Sun. So a really fantastic way to get up and about with the village life and with locals and to be able to mix that with a Mekong cruise. This is the style. It's a very rustic style of ship and this is an example of the cabins that are on offer in the upper Mekong, something that's very new for us and certainly a part of upper Cambodia and the upper Mekong and Thailand, which is becoming more popular. So you'll see a lot more itineraries from us in the future in this part of the world. So all of our deals with our Vietnam and Cambodia cruising is a book by 31 March this year, and we have a fly free, which is available on all of our 12 days or longer. Otherwise, we have a $1,000 per couple air credit, and this is available on our 8-day Mekong cruise only. If you wanted to fly business class, we have a great deal with Singapore Airlines as well, and this is available on all of our APT land and cruise at 12 days or longer, and this is for our SEDEC balcony and our owner suite, so those upper categories as well, for any departures June 2013 through to April 2014. But once again, at time of query, we'll be able to advise you, depending on the date you want to go and the cabin, exactly what your best deal is going to be. We have our Travel Marvel brand in Vietnam and Cambodia as well, which does the CM route through to Saigon, 7-night cruise, except we use a ship called La Marguerite. Now, she is a fantastic ship. She's actually a 5-star ship as well, as is the Alma Lotus. She doesn't have the twin balconies, but she has the French balcony concept. So we're really wrapped with this program. The key differences with Travel Marvel and APT on the Mekong are obviously the different styles of ship, but meals are all included. Drinks are included with lunch and dinner, and we just don't have the freedom of choice touring options on the land extensions, but we have all of the sightseeing included for Travel Marvel. So it's a really great price point and fantastic value. So this is the leading cabin on the Marguerite with Travel Marvel with the porthole windows, a Category C. Once again, that really dark wood and then very Indochina influence with design. So this is the next, the A and B Deluxe Balcony Suite. So once again, it has a French balcony area here and there is a little external balcony, but they're not as large as the twin balcony concepts, but a great standard. And this is a Sedec balcony here too. You'll see their beautiful polished floorboards and all of those fantastic Indochina design influences. And then, of course, the owner's suite for the La Marguerite. You'll see a shot of this here. Once again, private ensuite with bath and 350 square feet. And you can see there the photo of the fantastic ensuite in the owner's suite. A pool on deck, the sun deck, just as we did with Armour Lotus. And here's just some examples of the fantastic public areas. So the panoramic lounge and library as well there. So great options in the Mekong. Look no further than APT or Travel Marble, and I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic part of the world, and you get to be adventurous with some local, really local village life experience, market experience, amazing history, you know, that dates back to the Pol Pot era and the Vietnam War area. So some really modern history, fascinating stories that we get to hear from our local guides. We do Yangtze cruising in China as well. We use the Yangtze Explorer, and we do a 6-day cruise throughout the Yangtze in China. There is a 1-to-1 passenger-to-staff ratio as well with the Yangtze Explorer, which is quite unique. This isn't one of our own ships. We charter this ship, so it is on board with clients from different nationalities. So that was China. We also then do South America. So I'm just doing a very quick global tour now of where else we cruise. But in South America, we have an Amazon River Cruise extension available on board the Delphin 2. And I've got some shots here of the fantastic categories, the cabins that we have, cruising the fantastic Amazon River up in Peru in South America. And we also do cruising in Africa as well. So we do a 2-night river cruise on board the Chobe River in Botswana. And this is really like seeing the safari by water. This shot here I just love. You're seeing all of the animals in there, local inhabitants. You can, cruise up to them. We've got the smaller vessels off the back of the ship as well to get up close and personal. So it's a real river cruise safari. And that's been a new itinerary we have with our Africa program. That's been incredibly popular. We've put on more destinations and more dates for that particular cruise. And you can see here the interior of this ship is just amazing. There's only 14 cabins. It's very boutique. And the decor is in keeping, with fantastic African design. That's one, John, I haven't done, but I'll tell you what, it is on top of my list.
Yeah, I see why.
Is absolutely superb. And just to finish off, John, something new for APT is small ship expedition cruises. So we've heavily focused on river cruising. I've given you insight into where we do it around the globe. And a new product for us is our expedition-style cruises, where we do fantastic itineraries. We're doing Darwin to Singapore. We're doing Jakarta to Port Moresby. We're doing a circumnavigation in Cuba next year. And we also do the Kimberley Coast, Darwin to Broome. So this is going to be a product to watch out for. We have 2 sister vessels that we've heavily invested in with Noble Caledonia. That is the Caledonian Sky and the Island Sky. So they're great vessels. The Island Sky is actually going to be in Australian waters next month, doing some cruising from Hobart to Melbourne, Melbourne to Sydney. So we're very excited about welcoming her here. We have naturalists on board, historians on board. It's all included, all meals, all drinks. The public areas, as you can see here, maximum 116 guests, fantastic sun deck. We believe that this style of cruising, it has Zodiac adventuresome cruising. So we'll dock somewhere and there might be something happening in a remote part of Jakarta that we can get the Zodiacs out and go explore. So it's a real itinerary for those that have pretty much ticked all their bucket lists and want bragging rights to do some small expedition-style cruising that they haven't yet done. It's going nuts as well. It's selling like hotcakes because it's so unique to the Australian market. So some of those itineraries I just spoke about, the Darwin through to Singapore, which is a 13-night. We've got off the coast, the Kimberley coast of Australia, which has been really, really popular, combining that with some of our Kimberley land products. Here's another one, which is just a 10-night cruise only up on the Kimberley coast. And then, of course, this fantastic Port Moresby through to Jakarta itinerary, 16 nights, Jakarta to Singapore, 13 nights. And this one, which I definitely want to book myself on, this is fantastic circumnavigation from Mexico all the way through to Cuba, a 14-night trip going to be done. Yeah, so just to whet the appetite, that's all happening in the background, because one thing APT never do is just say we've got all the itineraries and the destinations we're going to go to. We always look for where's the next big thing. So we continually have different itineraries for our past passengers in particular to come back time and time again with APT. So with our small ship cruising, we've got a number of fly-free options available. So once again, check out our brochure, and obviously on your site, John, you have all of our brochures loaded, so clients can have a look there as well. For those past passengers, we have fantastic benefits if you have travelled with us before. You know, we have merchandise you can choose from. We have free home-to-airport transfers, unless you live more than 40 kilometres from the city, at which time we'll put a $100 per person credit on your booking. And we also have some great, fantastic exclusive offers available once you travel with us as well. So we've got to the end of that. You must be sick of hearing of my voice, but thank you for listening to all of the fantastic destinations that APT and Travel Marble go to, in particularly with river cruising. So if you mention that you have got to the end and you've watched this river cruising webinar, when booking your APT or Travel Marble river cruise, you can receive an additional $200 discount per booking. So what you need to do is either online at the URL then, besteuropeanrivercruises.com, inquire now, or phone 1-800-130-635. Mention that you've seen this river cruising, and when you deposit your APT or Travel Marble river cruise, we will be sure, the friendly consultants there will be sure to add this additional discount on as well. But wherever in the world you wish to go, whatever style you wish to go, be it the 4- or the 5-star all-inclusive, please remember APT and Travel Marble, because with a 98 to 99% customer satisfaction rating, we believe we truly deliver on what we promise. So we look forward to welcoming you aboard soon, the many destinations that we have on offer. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Susan. Marvellous, very, very informative, and like you now, I've got a couple of places on my must-do bucket list. But most importantly, for the people that are listening to this, if you are contemplating any of these types of holidays and you need some sort of guidance or advice on it without the pressure of worrying about being sold something, then please give us a call on the phone number that was on the screen, or of course contact us via the Inquire Now form, and I promise you that we will do everything we can to make sure that we match you with the best option to give you the greatest holiday experience you could have. At the end of the day, it's about creating holidays of a lifetime so that you can reflect back on them in your twilight years when perhaps you haven't got the energy to do the same sort of thing again and still relive those memories as if they were yesterday. Thanks again, Susan.
That's absolutely right. You're welcome, John, and thank you to all of our listeners.
Yeah, right. End of recording. Okay. Stop the recording, and I've got a couple of points I can talk to you about quickly. That was good.